most grit is the team that comes out on top, on or off the field. That's why the team of Chevy ZR2 off-road trucks is always a force to be reckoned with. Now, the first ever Silverado HD ZR2 joins the all-new Colorado ZR2 and the Silverado ZR2 to create a lineup that is off-road ready right from the factory. With Multimatic DSSB dampers, rugged Goodyear Territory MT tires, and underbody aluminum skid plates, they can take on anything the season throws their way. The Chevy ZR2 family of off-road trucks. Visit Chevy.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be low in testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works.
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text YOUTH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text YOUTH to 42424. That's YOUTH to 42424. Statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Visit Delta.com to plan your own Let's Go adventure today.
Opportunities for live VIP experiences and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Get down to the gritty and tell the city the home of the villains.
We're blowing up online. Hip Hop Nation connects you to the biggest hits in the game.
That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you
Just turn up and vibe. Hip Hop Nation, commercial-free hip-hop hits. Channel 44 and the Sirius XM app. To hear these channels, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at EquityZoneMortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018148868.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Jonathan of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. universe, according to me, and people who love the universe, and that include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, I've told the story time and time again. I was elected to be the neighborhood spokesperson. But some people don't appreciate it when I announce it at 3 o'clock in the morning. And you don't have to worry about what time it is. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcast platforms all over the universe. And streaming on 4 TV platforms. I'm telling you, you can find us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, TuneIn Podcast, Goodpods Podcast, Amazon Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can also follow us on Geo Savan Podcast out of London, England, as well as India and Africa. Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Weebot Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Missing Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Global Podcast, Podcast Prodigy, Podcast Republic, and the only one that used to scare me but not doesn't is AllFees.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are trying to take over, but we won't let them. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. You got to give that some praise. Really do appreciate that. I love what I do with Big C Sports on this beautiful December the 5th, the 2023. It's amazing we're almost to 2024. I'm going to count if that makes sense to you. I'm telling you what I love with Big C Sports Podcast. I love paying homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, especially veterans, pick up the phone and call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know we all do, and I really do appreciate leaning on if somebody's leaning back, if that makes sense to you. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, He said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, give us some praise. He also said, let there be light. I love shining light on everything that we need in life. Just having some great meetings today in them there hills, California. But what I do with Big C Sports is you can give me some praise on this. Number 1, I produce the show. Number 2, I direct the topics. Number 3, I broadcast all the shows. Number 4, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter. And I know I can use more laughter. And number 6, I'm telling you, number 5, commercials are done. The stats provided. I do the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. And then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Denver Hills, California. And number 10, I never missed a show. You got to give that some praise, never missing a show. And now we have people that miss a day in practice. I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about practice. Not the game, but people missing practice. And I never even missed a show, if that makes sense to you. I want to tell you what I love so much about Big C Sports Podcast, having great meetings all over this country. You know, I'm the foremost with the National Black Wall Street Project.com co-chair of Northern California. Give that some praise. You got to give that some praise. But I'm also the only person in the universe that wants to pay homage to President Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States, because he passed reparations through executive order called the Emancipation Proclamation. But you know, when Lincoln was assassinated, President Andrew Johnson came along and he vetoed the bill. And he gave the land back to the Southern Confederates and the people who wanted to overturn the country. Have you heard that before? And that was not right. That money was promised to black soldiers for joining the Union Army and helping them beat the Southern Confederates in the Civil War. And they got 40 acres and a mule, but it was stolen. And my job with the National Black Wall Street Project is to help get it back. Get it back! And for anybody that says, why would you want to get something back? If anybody stole something from you, If anybody stole anything from you, no matter who you are, would you want it back? The answer is yes, you want it back. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure it happens. We have to do that, and Congress needs to do it, and President Joe Biden, he's going to do it. But before I get started in the show, mostly basketball-centric, I'm not talking about light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam! I'm talking about signing reparations in the law. There's a California Reparations Task Force. They had the 16th meeting. Didn't I tell you that President Abraham Lincoln was America's 16th president? You gotta understand, even lightning has passion. I think I have as much passion as lightning. If you don't have passion, you probably won't do many things in life. But I want to give some praise to the people that have passion. The task force for California that was mandated by California Governor Gavin Newsom. Give him some praise. I want to give praise to the chair, Camila Moore. She's brilliant. Had conversations with her. Want to get on the program and have conversation with her again soon. She's brilliant. Also, I want to give praise to Dr. Amos C. Brown. He's the vice chair of the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I want to give praise to the California senator, the #1 senator in the United States of America. His name is Senator Stephen Bassett from California. He also sponsored Name, Image, and Likeness that helps college athletes get paid under Name, Image, and Likeness. He also sponsored the Ebony Alert that helps when young black children go missing. It helps get them the same resources that law enforcement puts into the law enforcement efforts for Amber Alerts when white children go missing. I want to give him praise. Going to be meeting with him soon. And then also I want to give praise to Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stephanie. She's brilliant. Love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her some praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis. He's brilliant. I'll tell you, also a professor at California Berkeley. And I want to give praise to Attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant. Part of the California Reparations Task Force. Give them all some praise. They're all doing their best to do what Governor Gavin Newsom asked them to do. And that's coming together with a plan for reparations. I want to thank This Is CNN, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. Give that some praise. I want to thank PNC Private Bank, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I want $6 billion, and I want it all in the nickels and dimes. Just wire it to my account. I want to thank Double O. She's part of the payout committee of the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me an article that was signed by President Biden. And it's called Executive Order 13985. You can Google it, 13985, on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's the White House. Give that some praise. Really do appreciate her. And then Double O also sent me what came from the United Nations. This happened back in September. The United Nations says that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. They're saying reparations. You got to give that some praise that was sent to me by Double O. You can Google it, all fair and nothing more. I want to tell you, I want to also pay homage to the Associated Press because it's important. And the Associated Press did an article on reparations. It was Janie Harr. That article that she called and talked to me about, it was on March 29th when we had the meeting. But the article is printed March 29th and also March 30th, 2023. Ring, 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 ring. Hello? Hello, is this Charlton Curry? Yes, it is. How can I help you? Hi, this is Janie Harr, the Associated Press. I said, how'd you get my number? She said, oh, we have our ways. I said, okay, what made you call? She said, because I heard you speak. I said, okay. She said, I want to get your thoughts on reparations. I said, if you heard me speak, you know my thoughts. I have the same thoughts as President Abraham Lincoln, the same thoughts that President Joe Biden should have. I said, reparations now, reparations forever. May lightning strike. Because it's time to start doing what we deserve to have happen. And for people that challenge reparations for descendants of chattel slavery, if you believe in robbing people and not paying them back, then you're not for Big C Sports Podcast. I want people to also Google Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2017. It's the Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2017. It's United States of America legislation that requires the State Department to report to Congress on steps that 47 countries in Europe have taken to compensate Holocaust survivors and their heirs for assets seized by Nazi Germany and post-war communist governments. And then I want to also tell you, I want to give some praise to United States Senator Marco Rubio, because he reintroduced a bill to restore Holocaust survivors' rights. He did that in 2023, and nobody even knows about it, but Big C does. That's why it's important to say. Also want to give some praise to This Is T-Mobile, proud sponsors of Big C Sports, America's largest 5G network. You got to give that some praise. Really do appreciate that. And then I want to tell you what's so important, because President Joe Biden, he back studying reparations. You know, Congress is considering a bill as we are breathing. Are you breathing? I know you want to hear about touchdowns, home runs, three-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. Now, for anybody who doesn't believe that reparations are due for descendants of child of slavery, imagine how hard you work. You can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And imagine if you don't get paid. From cradle to grave. You would want that repaired, wouldn't you? I'm going to tell you something that you can't refute. If you Google Freedman's Bank, and only about 10% of the country even know the name Freedman's Bank. It's embarrassing. Freedman's Bank, a United States bank, known as Freedman Savings and Trust Company. You can Google it. Freedman's Bank, chartered by the United States Congress in March 18th. It was March 3rd, 1865. And it was done there to provide a place for former slaves to safely store their money. You know, the way you put your money in your bank. After several successful years in which Freedman deposited more than $57 million. I'm talking about 1865 to 1874. With compound interest, the eighth wonder of the world, it would be $1 trillion by now, because it was growing. They had 30 branches and growing. It collapsed as a result of mismanagement and fraud. The bank's failure not only robbed many African Americans. Now, for anyone that has money in the bank, listen. It robbed many African Americans of their savings, but also had a severe psychological impact on them, causing many to give up hopes and dreams that went along with their savings and bring about a general distrust of financial institutions for years to come. Now, for those of you who don't know, you can Google it. The need for a bank for freed black Americans became evident during the American Civil War, because African American soldiers in the Union Army, who were often denied access to conventional banks, were often taken advantage of by swindlers. It became clear to some sympathetic military officers, as well as advocates for civil rights, that African Americans needed a bank to ensure their money was safe, just like white Americans. It was John W. Alford, a congressional minister, and Anson M. Sperry, a United States Army paymaster, individually identified that need and attempted to foster the creation of such an institution in early 1865. It was March 3rd, 1865. Now, Alford's effort, it culminated in the legislation. It was passed by Congress, United States Congress, March 3rd, 1865, that incorporated Freedman Savings and Trust Company as a non-profit financial institution. President Abraham Lincoln, listen up, President Biden, he immediately signed the bill into law. The same way President Biden is going to immediately sign reparations. Just like he immediately said he gave Ukraine over $100 billion. He can do the same thing for the people that put him in office, black Americans, descendants of child of slavery. It's important. Sperry began working for the bank shortly thereafter, according to the charter of the Freedmen's Bank. How dare you not know what Freedmen's Bank is? When you put your money in a bank, you expect it to be there. The money deposited was to be invested in stocks, bonds, treasury notes, or other securities of the United States. Unlike a conventional bank, Freedmen's Bank was forbidden to make loans. They took your money in for black Americans, but they would not let you make loans. It operated as sort of a cooperative. Each depositor owned a share of the bank's assets in proportion to his or her deposits. And this is the egregious part for those of you who think we don't deserve reparations. The bank, you got to understand this, especially when you have money in the bank. What happened next was egregious. It was after the Civil War. They had 50 white trustees that ran the bank, and they stole the money. Imagine going to the bank and you say, all your money is gone, Mr. Jones. And that's what happened. And every person today, when you go to your bank and you just want to take out a couple of dollars to buy some gas, a couple of dollars to buy something to eat, or pay your large bills, and the money's gone. Congress didn't pay them back. When Silicon Valley Bank went under in Silicon Valley, California, just about a year ago, Congress made good on the money the next business day. They didn't do that for black Americans. Imagine what that would feel like if your bank stole your money! And then Congress said, well, there's nothing we can do. We don't know how to get you the money back. Because they have records of every depositor. They have records of the slave ships that were insured by Lords of London that transported people during the transatlantic slave trade. They have those records that goes back to the 1600s. But they don't have the records from a bank. You ever hear of a bank not having records? Even the Black Wall Street, where they were burned down by mobs, the government did not come back and insure those depositors. In the United States. That's why I'm so passionate about Big C Sports. I want to thank NBC News. They did an article on reparations. It said March 30, 2023, Charlton Curry of Dimdare Hills, California, who discusses reparations on his Big C Sports podcast, that cash payments are necessary, that money talks. Show me the money. You heard Tom Cruise say that in what was that movie where Tom Cruise said, show me the money? I think it was He Got Game. I think it was He Got Game, but I might be wrong. It wasn't He Got Game, Curry. It was Jerry Maguire. Okay, well, you know, the show me the money is the same thing, even though I got the movie wrong, if that makes sense to you. But it's just so important. I want to thank also NBC News as well as CBS News and the Associated Press for doing an article on the #1 sports show in the universe. That's Big C Sports. I'm not shucking and jiving. When you get written up by the Associated Press, by NBC News, by CBS News, you're not shucking and jiving. I'm very passionate. Just like you'd be passionate too if you went to get some money out of the bank and the bank said, all your money is gone! You'd be very passionate too. And we got to do right by black Americans, descendants of child of slavery. I wanna just give that some praise. I wanna get into something real quick because it's important to me when I talk about banking. I read this at NBA too. And when you think about a black American, African American, Byron Allen, his net worth is nearly $1 billion. He got rich through his successful business and career as a comedian. Mr. Allen is an American businessman, a television producer, and comedian. He's also the founder of the United States media company Entertainment Studios. And Byron Allen, he lives in a $100 million home in Southern California. And think about what I just told you about Freedmen's Bank. Imagine if Byron Allen went to the bank with that nearly $1 billion in all of his portfolio, and they said, sorry, Mr. Allen, but all your money is gone. Think about that. Byron Allen purchased one of the most expensive houses in the world, a luxury mansion in Malibu, California, back in 2022. The nearly 5-acre property overlooks the Paradise Cove beach and has more than 300 feet of ocean frontage. The Mediterranean-style main house has 8 bedrooms and 12 bathrooms, spread across nearly 11,000 square feet. The house cost $100 million. It's about 11% of his net worth. I want to tell you why that matters. Because descendants of child slavery, they could own nothing. They couldn't get life insurance. They couldn't get health insurance. They couldn't get a pension. They couldn't get a 401k. They had no retirement. They had no vacation pay. They had no sick pay. They had no medical pay. They had no trust. They had no will. They worked from cradle to grave. That didn't happen to white people. The Homestead Act, you can Google it. Shame on you if you don't know it. 1862 and 1863. The Homestead Act gave over 276 million acres of land to white people. And even white Europeans. You know what they said to black Americans? You get nothing! The same United States government that created the prison industrial complex to massively incarcerate black Americans after the Emancipation Proclamation. So why is it important that Byron Allen was able to do what he did? He's a prominent American media entrepreneur, television producer, and philanthropist. He was born in 1961 in Detroit, Michigan. He's made significant contributions to the media industry throughout his career. His career as a television producer, I also am a producer. I produce Big C Sports. And I deserve $100 million as a television producer. Byron Allen is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Entertainment Studios, a media conglomerate that produces, distributes television shows, films, and digital media. Television shows increased Byron Allen's net worth by 20% each year. At the age of 14, that's when I started working. I was 14. Byron Allen started performing stand-up comedy routines at local clubs, showcasing his natural talent for entertainment. But this is also important in film distribution. In addition to television production, Allen ventured into film distribution through Entertainment Studios Morton Pictures, a subsidiary of Entertainment Studios. The company became the first African-American owned company to release a wide slate of films. Byron Allen has invested in various tech startups and acquired real estate properties, further expanding his influence and financial success through distributing films that hasn't been major growth in Byron Allen's net worth. Awards and accolades. Byron Allen has received honors from prestigious organizations such as the NAACP, the United Negro College Fund, and the Anti-Defamation League, among others. I'm gonna just tell you, I'm following in the same footsteps because I told you I produce the show, direct all the shows. I do everything that's required to make a show happen. That's important. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man, but I'm very fair. I'm egalitarian. I talk about things that are fair for all people. And that's why I say I produce the show, I direct the topics, I broadcast all the shows, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. The commercials are done. I provide the stats, I do the storytelling, I do the play-by-play, up to the line of scrimmage, 4 wideouts, 5-men fronts for the 49ers. The Eagles have a goal line stance, and they are back to pass with Brock Purdy. He's rolling to his right. He throws downfield. It is caught for the touchdown by Deebo Samuel. Touchdown, Niners! Everybody has their own formula. At the same time, the show's uploaded to 29 multiple podcast platforms and streaming on TV, 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, and Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Now, why is that important? Because descendants of child slavery are able to make money now. We're able to own business now. You couldn't do that through slavery. And even after slavery was abolished, 100 years of Jim Crow. That did not happen to white Americans. For people that say that we do not deserve reparations, they're lying, because H.R. 40 is a bill proposed by Representative Sheila Jackson Lee out of Texas. It has over 170 endorsers of it that are mostly white Americans between the House and the Senate. It just needs a 2/3 vote to pass reparations. Who are the people saying we don't need reparations for descendants of child slavery? We robbed that money fair and square. And I just told you, when Silicon Valley Bank, the depositors, they lost their money, the government came in and it made sure all their money was good, didn't they? Silicon Valley is mostly white. You can Google it. One of the richest counties in the United States. But when the black banks collapsed by fraud, you know, the federal government said, no, we're not going to help you. We're not going to help you. But thanks for winning the Civil War. So we have a crescendo called the 2024 election. And word is, no reparations, no vote. No more shucking and jiving. Those days are over. And so I'm asking good people, God-fearing people in the House and the Senate, and President Biden, if do executive order, the same way you use that same hand to sign the crime bill with President Bill Clinton that incarcerated the masses of black Americans for the same activity that white Americans were doing. And now they give them counseling when they're white. But they destroyed a lot of black families through the prison industrial complex. And many prisons are privatized. And most people don't even know that. Traded on Wall Street, which was built by black bodies, just like the White House was built by black people. Georgetown University, in the heart of Washington, D.C. Many people don't know this. Back in September 19th, I believe, or the 15th, you know, they over. You gotta understand, Georgetown University, not that far from the White House, they've pledged over $100 million. I beg your pardon. They pledged over $1 billion. $1 billion to descendants of child slavery. That's so important. And that article, you can Google it. It's just this year, September 15th, 2023, by Jamie Ratliff. It's in Black Enterprise. It's so important. Georgetown University and the Jesuits have pledged $27 million in money, land, and donations to the descendants of 19th century enslaved people who were sold to fund the highly prestigious institution. They were not selling white people. They were selling beautiful brown bodies. What would you do if somebody sold your child? If they sold your child, would you say, well, you know, that's just the way it is? You would not say that. You would have a heart attack, and after you finish not dying from your heart attack, you would call law enforcement, and you would ask them to search for your child. And you would do anything you could to get your child back, and you know it. But what if the government was the one that endorsed the selling of your child? Then what would you do? Who would you call? All black Americans were left to call him was God. What kind of God would let that happen? We know slavery existed everywhere in the world, but it was manumitted slavery. You could work for your freedom. You couldn't do that in the United States. So contributions from Georgetown University and the Jesuits are a clear indication of the role that the Jesuits and other institutions of higher education can play in supporting the mission to heal the wounds of racism in the United States, as well as call for action for all the Catholic Church to take meaningful steps to address the harm done through centuries of slaveholding. That's my Mudui Truscar Maddox, the CEO of the Descendants Truth and Reconciliation Foundation and chair of its board of directors. It's more important that we realize the donations hope to be a crucial step in rectifying the injustice enacted upon 272 enslaved men, women, and children that were sold. Has anyone sold your child? They were sold from Jesuit plantations to settle Georgetown's debts. And as egregious as that was, Georgetown, they realized they're wrong. Just like President Biden, you have the pen, you have the power of the pen. And you could do what President Abraham Lincoln said. He's the only president in the history of the United States that signed reparations into law. The Emancipation Proclamation. The 13th Amendment ended slavery. And then they set up banks for black Americans to put their money in. And it was appointed by all white people. And as I told you earlier, they stole the money! And they never gave it back. But now there's a chance to give it back. You got to give that some praise. Do the right thing. If you do the right thing, it's an easy thing to do. And I really do appreciate that. Before I get into some sports, because sports are so ancillary to what I've just told you, everything I say on this show is factual. That's why Big C Sports, unlike the other shows on ESPN and Fox Sports and CBS Sports and NBC Sports, they're doing a miscarriage of justice. Because most of them make a living, they covering black athletes. NBA basketball, I've been asking NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who's going to get a letter from the National Black Wall Street Project, to help support the push for reparations for descendants of child slavery, just like we have reparations for descendants of Holocaust survivors, and black Americans give that support. And we need your support. You make a fortune off of black bodies. No matter how rich they are, LeBron James, Steph Curry, doesn't matter. De'Aaron Fox, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, all of them. Paul George, Jason Tatum. There's one for the Boston Celtics that said he wants to bring the National Black Wall Street, or the Black Wall Street, to Boston, Jaylen Brown. I interviewed his father on Big C Sports Podcast. Jaylen Brown should be highlighted in the NBA with Commissioner Adam Silver, because a lot of these white men, they make a fortune on black talent and don't have the decency to say that reparations are due for descendants of child slavery. How dare you not? In the NFL, Roger Goodell, I applaud you for saying end racism and allowing that to be printed on the back of the end zones right by the goalpost. End racism on one side, at the other end zone it says it takes all of us. But let's stop shucking and jiving. We need to treat descendants of child slavery with the same effort and passion that we treat descendants of Holocaust survivors. When Senator Marco Rubio of Florida and Rick Scott of Florida, they're in Congress asking to make sure that payments are being made to Holocaust heirs. And no one fights it. And it shouldn't be fought. We need that same effort for descendants of child slavery as you yelling, stand up for the kickoff! I want to give praise to my family legacy. My beautiful mother's side, my great-grandmother called her Mama, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. Really do appreciate her. My great-granddaddy called him Pop, former military man and former Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. And for my grandmother, Muddy, a beautiful, loving, kind woman. She was a seer, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly, always making sure that everybody had opportunities in life. And then my beautiful grandfather, Hezekiah, another one of a person, a seer, could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine. Give my mama some praise. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to a championship in an all-men's league. Amazing how wonderful my mama is. Always saying rise and shine. I'm going to give her praise, the best person I ever met in my life. And then on my father's side, I'm telling you, my granddaddy called him Albert Curry. He was a pastor. He had 2 churches in Oakland. And then he had a 3rd church that he built in Central California. And then he owned 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Bancroft and Foothill. And then he owned 40 acres of land. 40 acres. How appropriate. That couldn't have happened during slavery. But he was born in Jim Crow. It was after Jim Crow that he got the chance to own the gas stations in the Bay Area. And then my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, working side by side with my granddaddy with the 3 churches and the 2 gas stations and the 40 acres of land. I was 8 years old walking through a hallway. It was late at night. I felt a hand on my forehead. And she said, "What are you doing, young man, on your way to get some more cookies?" I said, What are you doing up, Grandma? It's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. And she said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some more cookies?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap to what I'm doing, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations." And some cookies won't hurt either. But she said there's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak. She prophesied on me. Now I'm interviewed by the Associated Press. Stories carried by NBC News, CBS News. One of the top podcasts in the world on 29 platforms. Streaming on 4 TV platforms. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man. I couldn't have done Big C Sports if we were still living in the days of Jim Crow and slavery. Imagine where I come from. Because somewhere in the past, some beautiful, intelligent black men and women, they were not allowed to live out their dreams. So when people say their family came here and worked hard and pulled themselves up by the bootstrap, they were given money by the federal government and land. Land is worth money, especially when you understand factoring. You put $1,000 in the bank can lend $10,000. You put $10,000, they can lend $100,000. You put $100,000, they can lend $1 million. They did not allow black Americans to do that. They stole black Americans' money. Freedmen's Bank, Freedmen's Bank. Google it. And they never gave it back. Only a handful got the money back. And that's a shame. National Black Wall Street Project, it aims to help that. My beautiful brother, actually my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure planes can fly high so we could all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to a size extent. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning at the top of his feet. Always saying go forward. A voracious reader. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors, and 3.5 years from a major university. She set up the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. Isn't that amazing? My daughter set it up at Salem Media. And went up from there to help me when college coaches would come to the West Coast to do work with Big C Sports. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be, Daisy. And then just always trust God. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you will prosper. You can be anything you want to be. And then my beautiful son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, very smart, erudite, a good man. Always saying, I'm just so proud of you, Malcolm. Malcolm, he helped me save trees. I used to always look at newspapers to get stats on players and teams for Big C Sports Podcast. One day, Malcolm said, "Dad, why don't you just Google it?" And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. Now on 29 podcast platforms and 4 TV platforms streaming. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man. I couldn't have done this during the days of slavery. Imagine where I come from. If one man can do this, I've won Bay Area Broadcast Excellence Awards and still couldn't get a job through the white networks in the Bay Area, the number 4 media market in the country. I work with many people that are on TV to this day. And I was only hired week to week. Some of the white men that I've trained to do television, they get hired for the whole year. I hear some of them still doing games to this day. That's a system. But I don't have runners. I don't have producers. I don't have directors. I don't have 3-way those teleprompters to tell me what to say. I have no producer plug in my ear. I have no research crew. I do my research. I do the best I can. I'm not saying I'm the best at everything, but I do the best I can, which is enough to be written up by the Associated Press. And you got to give that some praise. Not everybody can say that. Not for a sports show. Not for a sports show. When they talk about the ESPYs, those guys are not written up by the Associated Press on NBC News, CBS News. They're only written up by sports companies because they're in the same club. But you can Google Big C Sports. My name is everywhere with NBC News, CBS News, the Associated Press. They called me. Give that some praise. You can be anything you want to be. One day Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. Now it's on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. You got to give that some praise. I think you can be anything you want to be. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Isaiah 54:17. That no weapon formed against will prosper. And then Big C with all that wealth and knowledge over the years, always saying, you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Saying, let's get ready to rumble. I love saying welcome to the show. Yes, we nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. I have no three-way teleprompters. I have no producer in my ear. I do the best I can because I believe that things are more important than just winning a game. There's a game called life. We got to win it. And I'm asking for decent people all over this country, especially in the House and the Senate, to help pass reparations. And I know I've told this story before. I see the greatest scorer in the history of the NBA, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Oh, wait a minute, Curry, you don't know what you're talking about. You know it's LeBron James. I'm saying the greatest scorer is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem only shot one three-point basket. LeBron shoots them all the time. Not knocking LeBron, he's great. But no one has scored more points than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And now he's doing commercials on AFib, which is a health concern. And I hope that everything's going to be okay with him and anybody else who has that. But Kareem, when he got the ball in the paint, he had a shot called the skyhook. You know what it is. And no one can touch it. I think Wilt Chamberlain blocked him once. The late Wilt Chamberlain. But other people couldn't handle it. Robert Parrish couldn't stop him. They couldn't stop him. They just couldn't stop it. Dr. J couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop Kareem. He was too good. But I want to tell you, when he got the ball in the paint, he made the sky hook. It was so easy. It's like President Biden has the ball in the paint right now. It's called a pin. And all he has to do to get reelected is to sign reparations and honor what President Abraham Lincoln did. It's like a layup. It's a layup! Because they're going to start stomping in 2024, asking you for the vote. They're going to go to the black churches. They're going to ask some black movie stars and entertainers to come on, and they're going to ask President Obama to come stomp with me and help me get elected. And he has to do what Kareem did. When he had the ball in the paint, he used the sky hook. The sky hook is past reparations. No reparations, no vote. Somebody's going to do it, and they're going to do it before the election. Oh, well, once I get reelected, I'll do it. You're not going to get reelected. There'll be another moment of Al Gore. How'd this happen? I'm not telling anybody who to vote for, but the person I'm voting for, they're going to sign reparations now. Reparations forever. That's who's getting my vote. I got Big C's NBA basketball power rankings. I got number 13. In the NBA, I got the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James. His field goal percentage this year has been the best since 2013-14 season. His three-point percentage is best since 2012-2013. And LeBron's effective field goal percentage is the best ever. And he's about to turn 39. Isn't that something? He's amazing. I want LeBron to talk about reparations. That's more important. At some point in time, we got to get decent people on our side. I just told you there's 172 members between the Congress and the Senate, the House and the Senate, members of Congress that want to pass reparations. And it's right there. They can do it. I got number 12 in Big C's NBA power rankings. I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks, the great Luka Doncic. He's attempting a career-high 10 3-pointers per game and connecting on about 39% of them. Unfortunately, Kyrie Irving's efficiency is going in the other direction. He's about 45.5% from the floor. That's the lowest since the 2015-16 season. But Dallas still has a good team. I put them at number 12 in Big C's NBA power rankings. I got number 11 in Big C's NBA power rankings. I have the Indiana Pacers. Yeah, the Pacers. When you think about it, Tyrese Halliburton had not recorded a triple-double before Monday night's win over Boston, and his brilliance was highlighted in Indiana's quarterfinals win. But the Pacers they're really strong, and they have a really good team. I'm telling you, this is a team that's going to go far in the Eastern Conference this year. I got the number 11. Number 10 in Big C's NBA power rankings, and everybody has their own thoughts. I'm going to go with the Sacramento Kings. Light the beam for reparations. Sacramento Kings in the same city that the California governor, Gavin Newsom, mandated a reparations task force. Light the beam! Light the beam! Light the beam! It's important. The Sacramento Kings have a bottom third point defensive rating over the last 5 games and are one of 2 of the Western Conference's top 11 teams to have a negative point. That's not great, but on the plus side, DeMar Sabonis continues to rack up efficient double-doubles and is shooting above 40% from 3. And that says something for a big man. Really like what the Kings can do. They got to get the ball into the hands of De'Aaron Fox more often because he's the Fox that can get the hand, if that makes sense to you. I got number 9 in Big C's NBA power rankings. I got the New Orleans Pelicans. Watch out for New Orleans. Brandon Ingram dropped 30 points in the Pelicans season opening tournament quarterfinal win over the Kings, and C.J. McCollum returned to lead the team in assists in 2 of the 3 games he's played since recovering from a lung issue. All's fair in Love and War. They got the Kings last night. All's fair in Love and War in Denver Hills, California. I got number 8 in Big C's NBA power rankings. I got the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee's found their groove. The Bucks have won 9 of 11 after a 5-4 start, averaging nearly 10 points more per game during that stretch. And sustained effort is still an issue, at least according to a lot of the good old boys that play for Milwaukee. They just got to play better. I got the number 8 in my power rankings. I got number 7 in Big C's NBA power rankings. I have the New York City Knicks. The Knicks are a Devin Booker buzzer beater away from being on a 5-game winning streak. The great Julius Randle has been excellent in that stretch, averaging 23 points and 10.6 rebounds per game, along with 6.2 assists. He's hitting 51.2% of his shots, and Randle shooting 47%. And losses, that number drops to 31.3. When he's shooting the ball well, then the Knicks win. I got number 6 in Big C's NBA power rankings. It's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. I got some good old boys by the name of Philadelphia 76ers. They've lost 6 of his last 10 with the injury illness bug sweeping through the Sixers locker room. And a soft upcoming schedule should get the ship just right. DeAnthony Melton, who made 4 threes in back-to-back games last weekend, is hitting from 40% from deep. I like Philly. As long as they're not sick, they have a good team. Number 5 in Big C's NBA power rankings, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder, they are doing what the NBA's 3rd youngest roster should do. Oklahoma City is a top 6 in offensive and defensive efficiency and ranks in the top 2 in the league in field goal percentage, second at 49.5. Free throw percentage, they're second, 85.4. And 3-point range, 4-3. They're shooting at 40%. I got the number 5. I got number 4 in Big C's NBA power rankings, the Orlando Magic. When you think about it, it's all fair in love and war. The Magic, it's like going to Disney World. In Orlando, the team's offense is starting to catch up to a sturdy defense, most notably thanks to Frank Wagner, who's dropped 30-plus in 3 of his last 4 games for the Magic. When they shoot the ball well, then they have a chance to climb the Eastern Conference, if that makes sense to you. I got number 3 in Big C's NBA power rankings. It's my story, and I'm going to stick with it. And I know everybody has their own opinion. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Timberwolves. How many of you have disappeared when you think about Rudy Gobert? The numbers last 5 games, 16.6 points, shooting 67%, 11.2 rebounds, 3 blocks, and meanwhile, Minnesota is also leading the NBA in most important defensive categories. I got them number 3. I know people don't really like them because they're a small market, but I got number 2 in Big C's NBA power rankings. And you can tell me if you believe in what I'm saying or not, but basketball is a game that of all teams, they should be championing reparations now, reparations forever. NBA's 80% black, and I want to see them do more to honor President Abraham Lincoln. I got number 2, the Denver Nuggets, defending NBA champion, the great Nikola Jokic, continues to put up some great numbers, including a 36-point, 13-rebound, 14-assist effort, and a loss to the Sacramento Kings. And then where Denver gets in trouble is when the Joker's off the floor. The Nuggets have been I'm telling you, they've been getting drilled in those non-Joker minutes, and they hope that things will improve when the great Jamal Murray finally gets healthy, and then he'll get more wealthy, if that makes sense to him. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I got number 1 in Big C's NBA power rankings. It's my story, and I'm sticking with it. The Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum, he's like the new, I won't say Larry Bird, but he's good. And entering the Monday night's game matchup against Indiana, Tatum was connecting 62% of his shots on drives, 74% at the rim, and mid-range game, he's around 50%. Third quarter continues to be kind of tough on Boston, which makes the Celtics ranking 29th in offensive efficiency in the third quarter. They were more steamrolled by the Pacers in the period on Monday, but Boston, make no mistake about it, they know where their bread is buttered. It's down at Cheers restaurant. You can get all the clam chowder you want, as long as you pay for it first. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Give that some praise, Big C's NBA power rankings. Everybody knows that life is about what you make it. I'm trying to help create a bump in the economy. If you're looking for work, take down this number, 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. And tell them Big C sent you. Because if you need a loan, we have a business loan alternative company. Approvals in less than a day with same-day funding. Items needed. Write this down. 4-month bank statements. What? 4-month bank statements? Yes. Write that down. 5,000 minimum monthly revenue. What? 5,000? Yes, minimum monthly revenue. 6 months in business. What? 6 months in business? They're not asking for tax returns. No W-2s. No 2 years tax return. They're not asking you for your profit and loss statement. They're not asking what kind of building you want to tie the money to. It's like bridge loan factoring to help people get through the tough times. And once you get approved, you can qualify for more. I'm looking for agents. We specialize in specialized unsecured working capital. Up to $5 million. No collateral. What? No collateral? No collateral. Early payoff discounts. We can fund as little as a day. If you know, in the real estate and insurance business, sometimes people are going through tough times. But I have an opportunity for you. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. And tell them Big C sent you. Well, as I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad. And fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber. You can call Lyft. You can walk it off. You can sleep it off. But don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car when they've been drinking. The life you save may be your own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And now you know what time it is. Backed by a popular man. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat, because listen to the Big C Sports, it's one to dance on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee, and I rumble, young man, rumble. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism. or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911. Things change when the police show up. What did President Bush tell us? He said, fool me once, shame on you. He said, you're not gonna fool me again. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that crap. Pick up the phone, call 911. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And now you know by popular demand. This is where we honor President Abraham Lincoln. Many of you in Congress and the Senate are with him. President Biden, listen up. As I always tell you on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day. Let's honor President Abraham Lincoln, America's 16th president. What did he tell Congress and President Biden to do? He says sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. Come on, you got to put more energy into that. I've seen you cheer louder at a football game. President Abraham Lincoln told President Joe Biden, he said reparations now, reparations forever. Come on, I've heard you cheer louder when your team won a championship. What did President Abraham Lincoln tell President Joe Biden to do? In order to get reelected, sign reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.